I won't listen. I won't lie to people listening. So Candy, first off, like, what were your thoughts? Like your overall thoughts of like day 5 of training camp?
It was a little quiet, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think with the fans there, Military Appreciation Day, it was super
Mm-hmm.
hot. First day of pads. I think they're just easing into pads situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was shorter,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure Coach Quinn will be asked about that tomorrow morning in the press conference. So we'll see, but it was a little quiet. It was a
Mm-hmm.
little more quiet than I anticipated for the first day of pads, but we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. It was quiet for me, but I couldn't tell again because I was thinking that everything happened before I got there. Was things happening before I got there,
No,
Candy?
it
It's
wasn't.
about the
It was
same, right?
yeah, it was about the same.
I'm about to say because when I got because after when it was over, I was like, this is it. Like I was literally like, all right, I had to miss something. Like I had to I missed something, but
And I kind of shared this with you when we were out there. I said, hey, I know they have an afternoon walk through.
mhm.
So that's probably where, I know it was
Okay,
blazing hot then,
yeah,
but I think that's where a bit more of the work, gets into it. I know they don't want, and the security shares with fans, they can't record, they can't
yeah,
have
of
their
course.
phones out, but they definitely, I will say this, I don't think that was all for practice today. I think that was all we saw, but I do not think that was all for practice today.
Mhm. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, with you.
Um,
I think that's what I gave everybody. Just it's some you have some vanilla days.
Yeah.
You have some vanilla days when people are when you have guests in your house, you make it vanilla, give them just enough. And today it was just about military appreciation. You got to realize what it was
yeah.
about and what it was for. It was for those
Right.
fans. Candy, how would you grade Jaden Daniels' performance today?
I mean, he was okay. I don't think today was really quiet. I'm being really
Mhm.
honest. Like, it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like, wow, whoa. It wasn't any wasn't it, it was practice, yes. But I really think that was just the plan for
Mhm.
today. I really think the team is I cannot confirm this. I think they're
Mhm.
minimizing what they're showcasing publicly.
Yeah.
And that is for a lot of different reasons, right? This is schematically, it's just smart in being strategic. Like, I've kind of mentioned this on my show where, at times, I even have to adjust what I'm saying or what I may tweet because I don't, it could be looked at as competitive advantage,
Yeah.
right? So I have to even adjust how I ask my questions in pressers or what I really want to know
Mhm.
because then people know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Go back to OTAs, Coach Witt Jr. was like, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't ask me who the starters are.
Mhm.
We're gonna unload 17 guys, we're gonna roll with it from there. Don't ask me. I'm telling y'all now, don't ask me. So I think it's going to take some getting used to the different culture. And I had to do some research on the front office guys and even the coach, some of the new coaching staff folks. And you got to really look at what other teams share and what they don't.
Mhm.
So would I give Jaden Daniels an A plus plus today? No,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't give anybody that today.
Got you.
Doesn't mean it was a bad practice. Just means it was a bit shorter. I think they were taking it easy. And I did see like a couple of, mishandled handoffs, but that wasn't Jaden though,
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. You all know I'm never gonna, you know, just yeah, everything's amazing or
Yeah.
anything.
Of course
I'm
not. Yeah. Of course
not
not.
gonna do that. I just, I just temper expectations.
Yeah.
And well, like you was out there, so he was like, "That was it," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah. I wasn't. Like you said. I just didn't know when I looked. Just looking at everything, I was like, yeah, this is not. Like I don't know how anybody can really hype up or say that somebody played bad or whatever. The only thing I saw was like watching Jaden personally. I was like, okay, he looks like a rookie. Like that's how I looked at it. He looks like a rookie. Like, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He made a nice pass to Austin Eckler in the end zone. Thought that was a really nice pass. Looking at him in terms of the red zone stuff, I thought like it was harder, because it's tighter window. So, I don't think he was at his best in the red zone at certain situations. But that's with time. You gotta get used to it in playing in the NFL. But he's like a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my that was what I saw, and that's not a knock on. Oh, we think we lost Candy. That's not a knock on anything, but he looked like a flat out rookie. But he's fast. I won't lie. Like the boy is fast. Like we got Candy back. The boy is fast though. Like I won't even hold you. Like he hit the corner, and you see the speed. You see all of it. And he ain't as small as what people say he is. That's he's I think that's really been overplayed. Like in person, he's not as small or thin as people like to put out there.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I got like during OTAs. They were like, "Is he really that smart?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, he's
really
actually
not. Like I've actually walked beside him, or turn around and was like, "Oh, he's standing right there." And so, no, he's not.
That's what called me off. I was thinking maybe I would see like a stick figure or whatever, but like, nah, I'm being real. Like how everybody gas it up, like he's the skinniest dude in the world. Like he's this small and that. Actually, he's a good quarterback size to me. Like I don't think like watching folks in the building before. I mean, yeah, they may be slightly bigger than him, but ain't nothing like serious.
So he's not Devontae Smith. He's not the Slim Reaper.
No, not even like for real. Nah, not at all.
It was the Kevin Hart cold as balls thing that made me think he was small. He looked really thin there. Maybe he's bulked up a little bit. I don't know. But you saw him in person, so I'm gonna take your word.
It's not as not like in pads, not like that for real.
Like you see him walking with Sam Hartman, it's not like he's much skinnier than Sam Hartman.
Yeah, like
Sam Hartman like 230 or whatever.
Yeah, like they're not. It's just not. It's not like glaring. You know what I'm saying? Like last year watching Forbes, you're like, well, that's a skinny boy. That's a skinny kid. Like you know what I'm saying? And speaking of Forbes, Gearsell said, does Forbes look like he put on 17 pounds of muscle? Yeah, he looks like he's bigger. He looks slightly bigger. He does. He does look bigger.
He definitely does. I mentioned it the other day. I was looking at him, and I was like, maybe I haven't seen Emmanuel. And I was like, is he bigger? And I was like, he's definitely bigger. And we had a conversation, and somebody asked him, and he said it was 17 pounds. And I was like, yeah. But it's not like, because he was definitely, slim. So 17 pounds is like, oh, okay, good.
That's good. It's not David Boston. But I appreciate y'all because it's a good segue. There's been so much talk about Jaden Daniels, about Emmanuel Forbes, even Deron Payne just had a baby. I think that's dope. But out of all the guys that appear to be motivated right now, I'm thinking that Jahan Dotson looks the most motivated. Just he's ready to prove people wrong. Would you agree with that sentiment, Candy? And with the paychecks for wide receivers just skyrocketing. If he would have a breakout season, what are the Commanders going to do? Are they going to be able to pay him? So what's your outlook on him?
I mean, Jahan Dotson got, in my opinion, he got done a raw deal last year. I mean, just in general, in terms of the season, the play calling, just being asked to do things that he just is not good at, right? He was kind of taken out of his element and doing what he does best. So overall, it was a disappointing year for everybody. But most importantly, it was a disappointing year for him. That was not the Jahan Dotson we saw the year prior at all, right? And so I almost feel like he deserves, an opportunity to be who we saw his rookie season. I mean, despite the injury he had, we were having all kinds of conversations about where he would line up in terms of the offensive rookies and rookies overall. He was having just that dynamic of a rookie year, even with missing games. So I think I'm going to say this. I think a lot of the returning guys have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson, Jamin Davis, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Terry McLaurin, right? I think for all those guys I named, it's like, Terry, you gonna be scary this year. All right. Like for real. Is it really gonna be and of course he still got top 100 honors and all of those things, but where we've not seen the best out of these guys. This year we're going to know whether it was coaching or not. And it's a lot of energy around Brian Robinson. I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah.
Mention him. You know, it's quite a few that I'm like, let's see what we're working with now with a whole new coaching staff.
I agree with that. I'm just wondering, from your vantage point, the body language. You talking about how quiet it was. Quiet can be a good thing sometimes. We already know that. But I just looking at his body language, looking at him in interviews, he just seems like he's got this confidence in his edge. Like I'm gonna have a breakout year, and I'm gonna get paid.
I think it was quiet today. It's not normally quiet at all. I think it's probably been a little more quiet because the public is there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to make it like, but if you're thinking strategically, are you gonna show your hand in front of everybody? No, not these people.
Well, hey, she's taking me back to Lex when he was on this show. He's like, release the secret weapon because you all quiet and try to keep things secret. We're going to see what it looks like week one. Especially if you defer, that team better not march down the field on you, or else the fan base is going to have a problem.
No, I mean,
so
everybody
they can quiet or ferocious. So if they want.
how I feel about that, because it's like every team last year scored first on the Washington Commanders ball. We talked about that. I used to say it every week. You know, look, don't let the team take the ball, right? You know, Kenny, you mentioned something. Some of the guys, and something I want to go back a minute, and I think you said something that was key there. All the guys that you named, if they don't perform this year, you can't blame it on a coaching staff because this coaching staff is assembled. This is a good coaching staff and a good team. You know, the knock on Ron Rivera that he couldn't motivate people, right? The guy that wasn't motivated. But what I've heard from camp and what I've seen in camp, these guys have been motivated. That Quinn is motivating them. That Witt is motivating them. Every coach is holding these guys accountable. And they either step up, as Grandma would say, piss or get off the pot, right? You have to, you have to step up. So all these guys, I'm looking for big seasons out of everybody. Deron Payne's name come back there, Jonathan Allen, because what it realizes is that some of these guys that are holdovers from the Ron Rivera era are expendable.
Yep.
There's nobody here that is a definite keeper. All these people are expendable from the Ron Rivera era. These are not Quinn's people. So you either if you want to stay, you better play.
The Expendables. I like it, Glenn. You want to say
the Expendables, and I think they know it too. I think they all know it, and that's why they are, I believe, established the culture of competition and accountability, and this how we roll it. The best 53, the best out of this group, and hey, let's be clear. I don't think Adam Peters and company would stop digging for talent if they feel like if they feel like they got a hole somewhere, they're going to try to make something shake. This is not set by any means at all, you know? And so I have a kind of inside joke. Like, I'm tired of making friends around here because it's like, and you bad luck. As soon as you make friends with somebody, they leave. And I'm like, that's why I ain't talking to nobody.
We go find a left tackle someplace. Well, that's a whole different story.
Well, speaking of tackles, Candy, they had Brandon Coleman playing tackle. I think was he playing left today or was he playing right? I think he was playing right tackle. So how is he looking? I know everybody's been getting really excited about him. You know, he was projected to a lot of folks as a guard, but now they got him kicked out at tackle, and you know he had a good showing on some drills, and now everyone's kind of in love and enamored with him. I mean, I want anybody with Wiley, so I'm cool, so I don't care. But how would you assess him, and what has been your thought process on his play? Or his,
I'm gonna go back to something you all just said. You know, the Expendables versus who they drafted. Now you're talking about somebody that's their guy. Yeah. Right? That's the start of a rookie class that builds the foundation of who they want to be when they grow up, right? You know, this isn't a team of who the only 5 leaders are. Yeah. They want all leaders. Right? And Brandon Coleman is showing up for the occasion right now. Yeah. Kind of know what you want to get with Andrew Wiley.
True. Yourself said, did anyone that is low on the radar pop out today?
I don't know. This person is not low on the radar at all. He's just quiet. and he just ends up being in my view. I'm like, where does he come from? Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
11. I don't know how many times. I don't know if you saw it today. Well, like I'm like, and I know sometimes we weren't like near each other watching practice, but it's some practices where I just won't see him at all. And I'm gonna call him. I think he is low radar because he's new, one of the newer guys.
Yeah.
But he just shows up in the play, and you're like, who's not be like, oh wait, it's Jeremy Chin. It's Jeremy Chin again. And so the Carolina Panthers guys.
Yeah.
Frankie Louvu. You know,
once Ron didn't pick, right? Yeah.
Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin is a baller, though.
Jeremy Chin.
Yes.
Hey.
He's a baller.
Yeah.
He's one of the better safeties in the league.
Maybe should have been the rookie of the year instead of Chase Young.
Yes, you know my opinion on that, dog.
It was so Taj. That's why I only say this person low key because he was a good signing. But for me, like I was kind of impressed with Austin Eckler today. That's the dude, I guess, and it's not low key, but I was like, okay, I like him. I like his decisiveness on his cuts. When running the football, obviously catching out the backfield. You know, I think it's obviously going to be essential for him to stay healthy because that's always been a knock on him, his injuries. But I kind of was when I was watching him, I was like, okay. He played with some fire, played with some flair, played like a young dude, not like a vet. You know what I'm saying? So like, and again, it's hard. To like really dissect people like practices like that because you know you ain't really going hard and you ain't tackling nobody like that for real. So, but in terms of like playing with that energy, like I saw it with Austin Eckler.
Did he play good enough for you to put him on your fantasy team?
No, not at all. Not that good. I just said he was good and today, day 5. What's up, Tally? He said, is anyone else shocked to hear Jamin may not make the team?
Nope, he's one of the expendables.
Not because of Jordan McGee.
Expendables. I mean,
go ahead though. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I haven't been saying that, but
yeah, I got something about that. Like,
I have definitely not been saying that, but let me be for real. It's gonna be some shockers, but this is not. Hey, look, there's some people out here, there's some players out here balling that nobody has heard of.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of talk about Tariq Castro Fields.
Yeah, I know. Making like,
you know, he's been making huge plays.
Like as a starter.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, this is really about the competition. Now, let me say this about Jamin, because I've also been talking very positively about Jamin as they're using him as a pass rusher. If they could get him going the way he was supposed to be when they drafted him, you would have thought he would have been doing coming off the edge. He's been splitting his time in practice, working with the linebackers and then working with Ryan Kerrigan over there with the defensive end. Because they're trying to really, really match people with those unique skill sets so they can be versatile and really be able to adapt to their offensive opponent. So if they're able to get, if they're able to find a spot, you know, that works for him, I think having, you know, of course, you know, the strength that they do have at linebacker, but there's some others that have been making plays. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. The preseason games are very important for all parties involved. I don't think anybody should feel too, you know, no one should be comfortable right now. If anybody feels comfortable right now that they're not embracing competition, and that is what everybody is talking about. It needs to be competitive.
But this is my thing about like the whole Jamin thing. It's just like folks are like on hot takes right now. Like I don't feel like you haven't got anything out of anything to figure out if he's gonna make the team or not. Like I think a lot of people are just saying like, oh, he's being outplayed by. I haven't seen you in pass, bro. Like what are we doing here? Like we're assessing people on like t-shirt, like wearing t-shirts and whatnot. Like you haven't competed yet. So how can you say if somebody's gonna make the team or not or whatever? Let me see you compete first, and then we can really gauge off of that. Let me see how you work when we really are going at it full throttle, even within your own teammates. Like when you start putting on pads and start smacking each other, then we can just dissect and say, oh, he ain't looking good. Because I don't like looking at people and assessing them off of what they do in an empty, like ice basketball, what you do in an empty gym when no one's around.
Yeah,
that does nothing for me. Like shoot your little set jump shots and let them all go in. Now, when you got competition, how do you play? How do you perform? Like, how do you act? So I don't like the hot takes about, well, Jamin's in trouble and this, that, and the, like you. What has the folks who have stated that? What have you seen in competition? Because we out here to compete. We ain't out here to like just stand around and do these little, and drills are great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking drills, but your drills can get you but so far until you start to see somebody man up one-on-one. And then how you get around that? That's how you gotta do, because all the coaching you do, eventually you're gonna have to use instinct, regardless of the fact you're gonna have to use instinct. So to me, if Jamin is struggling to get in scrimmages and whatnot, then we can come back to that discussion and say that he's not looking good to making the team. But from that point, after that though, we ain't seen nothing. Like, and we don't know if he's gonna get better under Ryan Kerrigan at all. It's so early. Like, he's just working with Ryan Kerrigan as a pass rusher. Who's to say in week 1 or week 2? I mean, next week it clicks and now he's a better pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? He's with Bobby Wagner. He can't learn from Bobby Wagner. Say after next week, he's like, hey, Bobby told him to do this. Now he improves off that. That's why I don't get into all that. Compete first, and then when he's not showing up, then let's have that discussion about Jamin's in trouble for real.
Right. Yeah. I want to answer T Black's question. The reason he was Ryan Kerrigan, if you don't know, Ryan Kerrigan is the linebackers and pass rushing specialist for the team. You know, so he's working with Ken Norton Jr. To make sure that these linebackers are in shape or doing what it can do. You know, Ryan Kerrigan did pass rush for the Washington Commanders, and again, that's the position. That's what they have him on staff. So he's teaching Jamin Davis to go put his hand in the dirt. And if you look at the linebackers, where do Jamin fit with the linebackers that's on the field already anyway, right?
He like me. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing.
No, I believe Kerrigan is. Look, I'm like. I ain't saying nothing. I'm personally saying that. I saw all the comment too. Kerrigan is overrated. A lot of his sacks came off because people came on pressure on the other side. But again, I get it. A lot of his sacks came off from the guys in the middle. No doubt about that, right? But numbers don't lie. You can't take it away from him. He got
numbers, man. Look, I ain't saying nothing. That's why I ain't saying nothing.
Just like me saying Emmitt Smith got the rushing title because he played longer.
Hey, man. I ain't say anything. I would say that too, but I ain't saying anything. All I'm gonna say is Ryan Kerrigan's a nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
No.
My point is if Jamin Davis can't learn from Ken Norton, Bobby Wagner, Ryan Kerrigan, then he shouldn't be a Washington Commander, and they should hold people accountable. If you can't learn from those people that's in that room, in that linebacker room, then there's a problem. And I know you mentioned about pads. Sometimes it's not about pads. It's about what you can grasp in the room, what you see in the room, and what you understand.
But you got to implement that though. That's what I'm saying. Like you're right, but you got to be able to implement it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to do it. You can learn in the room, but you may not be able to do it on the field. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like, you're right. You could be an A student in that classroom, but when it's time to take that what you learn to your profession, and if you don't implement it, then you ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, Gearsell said, "Hope Jamin turns the corner. Too bad Del Rio had him playing in a Tecmo Bowl defense." Totally agree.
And Gearsell's right about that, because the challenge a lot of these defensive coaches have is they have to deprogram the bad programming from last year.
Yep.
Before they can get the good programming in. So maybe we've got to have a little bit of grace for Jamin and some of these other guys. That said, I think what Candy said about people being expendable and that this coaching staff is not letting anybody feel comfortable is exactly right. And it's welcome, because we haven't had that with the previous regime. We haven't had that with most of the regimes that's been in here. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that I feel very positive about. I wanted to ask a bit of a left field question for Candy, because one of my big things is special teams, and especially with the new rules, kick returning. Mm-hmm. So what is going on there, and does Casimir Allen have a chance at this point, or is it definitely going to be Jamison Crowder?
I mean, he's got a chance. Yeah, they all got a chance. But I mean, but last week in the opening presser, was it? Oh gosh, it feels like it was so long ago. I think it was last week. I asked Coach about that kick return, punt return thing, because it was obvious to me during OTAs that they're going to be. I'm a special teams person. I say this all the time, and I would always be so frustrated. And then whenever I see B Mitch and I get on my rant, I'd be like, "It's your fault. You are my biggest problem," because you understand the importance of field position.
Yes.
Right? In setting your offense up to be successful, to do what? Score 7, get down the field. Mm-hmm. And it is evident, and head coach Dan Quinn mentioned this in his response to my question, because I didn't want to get really into it, but I was like, I could see the variety. They got a lot, they're trying a lot of different options from a punt return and a kick return perspective. He says he sees them different. He sees them, differently. Mm-hmm. So I think it goes back to something else they've been talking about around the versatility and unique skill sets, and just overall not missing an opportunity to get down the field. It is not just Jamison Crowder back there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They mixing it up very well. And now we got another inside joke, was like, dang, Kenny, ever since you asked that question at the official press conference, now they're like, don't record the special teams during shooting. Nobody ever cared about special teams, but they know at least I'm watching.
I'm glad somebody is. It matters.
Like, look who back there. Look, wait, nobody's watching this special team. Nobody's watching what's happening right now. You don't see the players they got back there.
Especially with the kickoff rule, where you catch the ball at in that zone that you have to catch it and where and all that. That makes a big difference. Yes. It makes a big difference with the kicker too. Going forward, you want to kick it. You almost want to kick it into the end zone every time. Kick it in the little zone where they can bring it, so they can have an opportunity to return it and not kick it into the end zone, because then the ball comes up a little bit further. So that's field position, and especially late in the game or after a score and you have one score, that makes a big difference going forward. So that kickoff thing as well, big. How's a long snapper? That's was an issue that we had last year. Long snapping was a big issue too. So
it's better, but I mean, what is that saying? Because they just that bad last year, It's better, it's good, it's a good thing, it's progress. But I'm going to tell you this, because I think I do see the question about the kicker. That's how they were serious. This regime is very serious. They're not dealing with no foolishness. Yeah. So for you to release Brandon McManus, knowing that is a slide, right? Mm-hmm. It's very I was like, whoa, they were really serious, because they're like, you got to get up out of here. We have to find another kicker. And so they're working through it. They're working through it. Just day 5 of camp. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm just confident that this team is going to be trying to get the best they possibly can get and be at each position, including kicker. And long snapper.
I just hope they take it serious. Just like you said, Candy, I feel like special teams, like kicking, especially when you were we talked about this in the prior show, that you're going to probably start a rookie quarterback, and you just want to give him the advantages to have a successful offense. So if he drives the length of the field and his kicker just misses a chippy, that's a blower. I mean, that's definitely a downer for him. And then also
back there that much, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and then if he's just say, like, if he can't trust his kicker, then he's gonna have him pressing. You know what I mean? So like it could be a play where all he needs to get in field goal range. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, screw bump that. This dude suck. I'm trying to get this touchdown. And he may throw an interception because of it. He may try to force plays because of it. So I would prefer them to have a guy who he can rely on. You know what I'm saying? Him and his whole entire offense can.
That's
so
right.
I totally agree with you. The kicking game is very important.
You say Dak should be nowhere near.
He ain't been back there. I saw him a couple times, and I just was like, "What is he doing back there?" And then I didn't see him much more.
He don't make this
wait, time out. He be out there? I didn't pay attention. He be out there? He's still out there? Like he's still like
Yeah. He shouldn't even make this roster, to be honest.
He shouldn't. I don't even care if he makes the roster. I ain't gonna lie to you. He shouldn't even touch or breathe like on special teams. Like I don't even like on returning side. That's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't even be mad if he made the roster. I don't care. I just don't want him returning. Like everyone deserves a paycheck, so I'm not going to even say anything about that. But in terms of returning kicks, I don't even want him.
Oh, he can
in
get a
that
paycheck.
area. I don't want him to breathe.
He can get a
on
paycheck
kick
this
return.
time in Washington.
That's cool. That's too. I'm with you on that too. I'm just saying I don't need him to breathe on a kick returner. That's how bad. I don't want him to breathe on a kick returner. You know what I'm saying? QSL said good point. Special teams are going to win a few games for somebody this year. Yeah, that kicking issue is like so. Candy, there's like 3 or 2 kickers they have in camp.
Yes,
It's like 2. Yeah, I prefer them to have better kickers. I prefer to have more kickers. I only like kickers they do have, but don't. That's just it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out though. But I'm not a fan of the kicking situation right now. So, Candy, we want to talk about Cole Turner. Hey, Glenn, can you pull up this Cole Turner interview?
Wole Akinzo with Auburn Dingo everything here with tight end for the Washington Commanders, Cole Turner. Cole, how does it feel to be in pass for the first time in training camp?
It feels good. Feels to be back home. It's good to get them popping and kind of get a feel for what real football is like again.
In the off season, if you had something you felt you had to work on, what would that be? Have you employed it today?
I just tried to work on my overall strength and play speed. Just getting used to playing faster with my shoulders down. Become a little more flexible, being able to move a little smoother off the line. So just those type of things.
And you feel like you're more comfortable at it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a blessed one.
So, all right. So Cole, so Cole, I actually have been a fan of Cole Turner. I like his game. I think he's got, I think he can catch the football. I think he had a good opportunity with the prior regime. I thought when he did get to play, he made big plays. But I don't know where he's gonna where his stands is with this team. But I did watch Ben Sinnott play, and I was like, you know what, Cole, you got a chance. You got a chance. So first off, what are your thoughts on Cole Turner in terms of his chance of making this team, or is he, like you said, he's on that side of you're not one of our guys type of list?
I mean, it's definitely not one of our guys, but I think they see the uniqueness in a Cole Turner. And why he could potentially be a threat on your offense. Some of the challenges with Cole previously was that he just didn't block. Not all that well, right? So I said it was really hot out there.
Yeah, bro, it was hot, bro. Real talk. I was sweating like crazy, homie. I was dying out there.
I left everybody on the field. I was gone, right? I was like, I'm going to the press conference.
I wouldn't even hold it. I was dying, but yeah.
But Cole, I've been seeing him make plays, right? I've been seeing. Now he is one that I've noticed in the early stages of camp. Like, okay, Cole, you're having a really good camp. That's what's up, But it's still so early. But it's just going to be super interesting what they see how that group pans out, because if Sinnott doesn't, right, then what do you do? They're not cutting him. They're
not cutting him, exactly. He's like, he's too high of a pick.
What do they do in terms of that position when you need your tight end to be able to block? Because you're not gonna have Zach Ertz out there doing it every single play.
He looked good though. In terms of his in shape, like he looks lean. Like Zach Ertz.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's been, Zach, you talk about Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz.
I mean, in some ways, Zach Ertz was looking a little vintage Zach Ertz a bit. I was like, hey, again, you don't want to get too excited, early on. But I was like, wow.
Could they keep 4 tight ends?
Actually, after the first preseason game, after the first joint practice, first preseason game, I feel like I'll feel a little bit more confident about my answer to the question.
But you also got to remember Zach Ertz has been in this offense before a little bit with Kingsbury, so he should be comfortable in this offense because he was in this offense when he was in Phoenix.
Arizona,
Phoenix. Yeah. So he should be more comfortable. It's Phoenix, right?
No, you're right. It's Arizona. You're right. It's Arizona, same thing.
Oh yeah. He definitely, for sure. Yes. One thing that Zach Ertz said today, and I noticed this too, so I thought it was just me, and I just. It's 2 things that I've been saying publicly now. Now, Lord, you please don't make me have to take this back come November. I'll be like,
no problem. Go ahead, I got you.
Dan Quinn is all right with me. Dan Quinn is all right with me. and I talk to Dan, and we cool. He's cool. We cool.
Yeah.
And he has a real conversation, and the players and the staff really like Dan Quinn. But he's way more results driven, right? And reinforcement. He's not just a nice guy, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I hate nice people.
And when we were talking about Zach Ertz, I wanted to go back to something he said about Cliff Kingsbury, because I was not like a Cliff Kingsbury person. But let me tell you something. He's really growing on me. And Zach Ertz made a comment today and said that he's not seeing Cliff this happy. Like Cliff is like really happy, and he looks happy. Like it looks like he's really like, oh, well, let me try this. Like he's just being
in his bag, right?
Like, yes, he is in his bag. That's right. Exactly.
He doesn't have to be the head coach. He doesn't have to worry about the media. He doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff. He can just be an offensive coordinator, which is what he was born to be.
But he does have to worry about 1 year and done. And if he doesn't get it done, I think he could be a 1 year done. You have people on this. You got to remember, they have people on this staff that have been OCs, right? Who've been head coaches. And so if he does not, I can see Dan Quinn saying, you know what? Yeah, take a back seat, bro.
You got to be real bad for that to happen, though. I'm going to hold you.
I think he has enough people around him who's going to, Anthony Lynn and Bob Johnson, all those guys are going to sit down Cliff and give him the business and have a conversation with him.
It's wild because the only person I feel like could possibly do it, it'd be Anthony Lynn. I don't think Johnson isn't that. Like, there's a reason why Johnson's out of Philadelphia pretty quick, because he didn't get along with Jalen Hurts. Like, he thought he was part of the reason why his decline. So Johnson isn't like the household name. Now, Lynn is the one. Lynn is a household name. Like, Lynn has been good as the OC in other stops. But I think that from what I've heard about Quinn, like, Kingsbury has been a guy like he's been enamored with for a while. So I think he would have to do a horrible job. Like, he would have to be horrible to be fired. Like, to be honest with you. And plus, you know, and real talk, you're dealing with a rookie quarterback, so you're gonna get a longer rope to work with. It's not like you're dealing with a vet; you're dealing with a rookie quarterback. So they're gonna always have the he's learning type of thing. It won't be like their expectations outside of like the DMV, like outside of the area. Their expectation is realistic for a rookie quarterback. Like that, I will say. Like I feel like this staff is their expectations of what Jaden's going to do is realistic compared to the outside world. That's just my opinion. Telly said if Terry goes down with this wide receiver room is in trouble. I think this wide receiver room is borderline bad. We go one and a half deep. Jahan can't be considered a whole with a start he's had to his career. Ray, I see your face. What you want to say, bro? You got to making that face, Ray.
I'm gonna give him the Chase Young grace. John had a really good season. Year 2 wasn't as good, but we saw the ability. So let's wait and see before we say that he's now whole. You know what I'm saying? I think he actually could be that dude. I mentioned earlier he looks motivated. It's a different coaching staff, and Jahan, I like Jahan. A lot of times people leave here and they do so much better somewhere else, and you don't want to let somebody like him get away. I think he's going to earn the bag for real, because like I said, receivers are getting paid. I like Jahan a whole lot. And after his rookie season, everybody was saying, "Oh, Jahan is him." And then you come back, and the whole team was a mess last season. It wasn't just him. So I know the Philly game stands out at Philly, but still
for a lot of people.
And that was a tough catch at the end of that game. But anyway, I think Jahan still has the ability. I wouldn't go that far. And I think Diami is a little underrated as well. I'm not saying he's great, but I think if you lose Terry, I think you still got some guys who could be good pass catchers and be put in the right position.
Isn't that where a lot of the surprises are going to come from? Tinsley, a lot of people like him. Was it Jeremy wrote? What is it? Jack saying I can't always.
From Georgia, the kid from Georgia.
Yeah, that's that ridiculous catch in OTAs. I kind of feel like that's where all the surprises is going to come from as wide receiver. I mean, he's DC Dude's right on paper. It's not a great looking room if something happens to Terry, but I think it's going to be a lot better than what people think.
Yeah, it's also depending on we're going off of how they were coached last year. So I mean, it is what it is. I think we have to kind of look at it like because a lot of people rated this receiver room okay. I mean, pretty good last year before the season.
Look at
started.
what Ocho Cinco said when he talked to Jane Daniels. Remember, he was like, "You gonna have Jahan Dotson."
Yeah, so I just think
people
it's easy.
excited about it.
Yeah, I think
I agree with Ray. I agree with Ray, man. You know, then you got Kingsbury who likes to throw the ball around.
Yeah,
you got. I agree with you, Ray. I know. I agree. And Jahan is looking better, and there's going to be a breakout season. And I go to the Jahan situation. Got to realize too, this team tried to run the ball last year, right? You had a quarterback who essentially was a rookie quarterback trying to get the ball out. He had an offensive line where he couldn't get set. He was throwing the ball for his life. So a lot of things that Jahan does is try to get into the seam, get into his routes. Couldn't develop because the quarterback didn't have time to throw the football. So this year, if the line is a little bit better, you'll see Jahan numbers go up as well. You'll see a lot of these guys' numbers go up because, again, Cliff likes to throw the ball. And if the running game is there, then the ball will be flying around much more. So I expect all receivers. And like I say, it was a bad receiver for everybody. We talked about it earlier. It was so bad that Terry McLaurin had to wait for 1 minute left in a football game to get 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
I mean, you can tell you how bad the receiving core was last year with the quarterback merry-go-round that they had. So it is, that's the problem.
Wale, that's my YouTube short. Don't text me. There it is. I just said it.
Facts. I hear you. Good one, bro. I'm still text you though. Jerk. Tom said, number-wise, Turner needs a great camp to make the team, in my opinion. I agree with that. He does. Said Cliff.
Look at Todd. Todd spit knowledge.
Todd said Cliff doesn't have to deal with Kyler Murray. Yeah, everybody.
I'm with Todd doing the whole excitement piece. That's where I'm at too, and so is Wale. Glenn's always excited.
Phil Kingsbury is a genius. Pritchard is the next man up when Cliff gets a head coaching job.
DC dude, I like you.
Cliff's not going to be a head coach again. I'm going to say that right now.
I'm going to say this, like a genius. This is my thing. Like
that's Kyle.
Only way he can head coach again if Washington wins the Super Bowl, and that's not
like I don't like throwing the word genius because like the Shanahan, like Kyle is a genius. Like you're a jerk, be a genius. Like like Sean McVay is a genius. Like their offenses just hit. Like they hit different. Like eventually you look at Arizona, like Green a head coach or not, to a certain extent, whatever. Defenses got used to what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is in Arizona. Like that's the truth. Like that's why I don't use the term genius. I always like when Miss Waller comes out, I always like to make sure she gives her daughter 6 to see it. So there you go.
Oh yeah, we all up late tonight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So but yeah, like so I don't want to use the term genius. He has a lot to prove for what he did in Arizona. You know what I'm saying? Like he got a lot to prove. He gotta run the ball a little bit more. He gotta run the ball more, and he's also gotta have more of a balanced game in terms of how he calls plays in terms of in the timing of his plays. But I am excited about with the skill set of players he has with his offense because he has guys that he likes to get receivers in open field. Like he'll do a lot of bubbles, he'll do a lot of wide receiver screens, he'll do all that stuff. That's like he'll spread you out. If you watched him in Texas Tech, you watched him. Obviously he was helping Caleb Williams and SC. Like you know what he brings to the table in terms of his mindset of an offensive play caller. But that's in a college game. In the NFL game, you still got to show it to me. You know what I mean? In terms of consistency, and because he did have, regardless of how people feel about Kyler Murray is a talented quarterback. Like it is what it is. He's a talented quarterback. So he's gonna have to show that in the NFL consistently. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing. So because you saw Cliff Kingsbury wasn't on this team. Wasn't the offensive coordinator for Arizona last year, and you saw how bad Arizona was. They got Kyler Murray back, and they became more competitive. So it lets you know that Kyler Murray, with Cliff Kingsbury or not, he's a talented quarterback. So he's gonna go in a situation with another talented quarterback in Jayden Daniels. So now he's gonna have to learn from what he did with Kyler and improve. And that's it. That's what he has to prove himself. So that's why I can't call him a genius. He has to prove himself. That's all. Does he have the potential? Yeah, obviously he has the potential. But to be a genius in the NFL game, you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a good first half of the season and defenses catch up, and then all of a sudden your second half is horrible. Because that's what goes on with Cliff Kingsbury. He'll have a good first half. Defenses catch up, then the second half he struggles.
I mean, he can't make adjustments. That's what
I'm saying. Like,
so
that's why I don't call him that's why to me the jury's still out for me with him. But if he turns up, you're gonna have me. I'll be here raising my hand saying, "All right, bro, you wanted him." But right now, like the jury's out there for me with him.
I'm starting to feel him, but we also have to give a lot of credit, like you always saying before. I mean, anytime you got Anthony Lynn, is one of your position coaches.
That's good too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The supporting staff is really good.
I agree with that. I do agree with
that. And so if you're going to have a Cliff Kingsbury, you already know going in, he's going to need a strong supporting staff. Same thing with Coach Joe Witt, right? This is his first time at the coordinator role. Of course, he could have done it before, but look at who he has as his supporting cast. So I think they really had to. They were super strategic and just saying if we're gonna make a run at this, you know, and I think head coach Dan Quinn had to say it too. If I'm gonna make a run at this, I want the best available that can take these positions. Because like you have already said, I mean, this is a coaching staff that has had other offensive coordinators and head coaches that are now operating as position coaches. And so that was going to be key. And you see it. And I've had people ask me, and I mean, I haven't seen this yet, where it's like, is there too many leaders? It's kind of hard for me to buy into a such thing as there's too many leaders. If you are the position coach, if you are wherever you are, you the leader for that. So I expect you to lead. If you're the running backs coach, I don't expect you to lead the offensive line or the wide receivers, because I got another leader leading that group. And we have other leaders, you know, within that group. So I think it's okay to have a bunch of type A's. I think the challenge is we don't realize with other winning teams, these people be really type A.
So Candy, who's making the decision? If it's 4th and 2 and you at the opposition 35, is that Kingsbury's decision? Who's making that? Who's making that choice?
I think it's gonna be Kingsbury call. Unless you at least rookie year, unless somebody goes, unless you go, you know, I always laugh because, you know, Boy TV covers the Ravens too. And, you know, sometimes in some games, Lamar like, let me do it. All right. Okay,
that's
Lamar.
what I'm saying. That's what I was wondering how
about that. Like, did he really tell him it was he had it? He's like, yeah, he did.
Because Riverboat made all those decisions last year. He's the head coach.
Great quarterbacks do that. Peyton Manning used to make that call. Tom Brady used to make the call. Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP, so he gets the opportunity to make that.
But now it'll be Cliff, you know, unless it's just unless something just happens and they just can't figure it out or something they feel.
That's why I asked, because I remember Kyler Murray. He's blurred out, calm the F down. He was yelling at that dude. So I wonder how that's going to look. You know,
to Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray was cursing.
Nah, they different. That's what I'm saying. To what Taj's point, they're different. Taj said, well, I agree. The jury is still out, but I think his fellow coaches is better here. The key will be is Daniels is a better pupil.
We gonna find out.
I think it is. Like, I'll give you that. They're totally different. Their personalities are totally different. Like Murray, like their personalities are different. Murray is more. Murray was maybe like. Yeah, Murray was deemed that person coming out of Oklahoma. It is what it is. That's not anything different. Murray was more of that individual who was more headstrong. Like he's a headstrong individual. Jaden is more of a playful, like he's a chill, he's a cool dude. Like not to be to be real, he's a cool dude.
He's more coachable.
Yeah, he's coachable.
Yeah,
he's cool. Yeah, so it's not.
I've been calling it humble confidence.
Yeah, there you go. He's humble,
but
like,
I
like it.
He can play.
So I don't think that will be the issue.
Yeah,
like that he won't be back talking coach. I don't think that's the thing.
I would love for him though to say, you know what, trust me, I got this.
I think you get that with age, but you get that with age though. Right? Like that's more like that's. You got to prove yourself to be at that.
And also, you got to be comfortable with the whole playbook and be comfortable with the situation and everything that's going on. Be able to do that. You know, Candy, you said something that was key, Candy. You know, with Dan Quinn. People got to realize this is a performance-based business. Now, I want to stress that this is a performance-based business. If you don't perform, you need to sit down. Under the last regime, even under the last ownership, think about it. There was people brought here because the ownership was fans of these people, right? Ownership. Some people stayed around because the ownership was fans. Some people stayed around because they had a big name and they didn't want to let them go. Right? They didn't see the writing on the wall. I don't think this staff is going to be that way. I think this staff is going to hold everybody accountable. If you can't perform, then you got to go somewhere. If you can't perform, you can't produce. Next man up. That's why I thought they brought Newton in, right? Newton's here. He's here to take either Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen's job. He brought in. You got Mariota who's backing up Jaden Daniels. You have the kid from Notre Dame, right? He's brought in.
He looked all right. Kaza, he looked all right.
So again, you have people who you're here to compete.
Right.
It's not just a give me, right? Because it's really, I know Jaden's a high pick, but it's not a give me that he may be starter week 1.
You better start.
Well, see, he gets compared to Rob a lot, and I wonder how his career in terms of his rookie year is similar to Rob Griffin, because to me, RG3 was kind of humble in the start. By the end of that season, he's like, I'm the best option for this team. That's why I was out there, even though I was hurt. And he wasn't. He kind of was a humble, church kid, and he came along and he developed a voice by the end of the season. I still think that from a talent standpoint, I think RG3 was a little bit more accurate than Jaden coming out. But at the same time, the speed is there. The maturity level is there. They both, I think, are really strong personalities, but like she said, quiet, humble confidence. I'm interested just to see how he evolves throughout the season, because I don't know if we necessarily have all the information. Y'all said it was quiet today. We're going to find out.
It was quiet today, but it doesn't. It's not quiet out there. No, I really think it's because the fans. I'm just gonna say it. I think it's because the fans are there. I have to see how the rest of this week goes, because I've been out there before and been like, what is going on? Everybody's yelling. How's everybody yelling? But it's just, they just in it. They're into it. But I'm let me know what type of time they were on is doing these joint practices.
Yeah, that's it. That's
for their away games. That's what let me know what type of time this coaching staff was on. Because you've seen them do joint practices, but at home, it's not, or like when I say it's Richmond, I guess. Mm-hmm. But to 2 weeks, they're basically away. They're not in Ashburn for the most part, right? Because once they do the fans through the rest of this week, I think they're off Wednesday, Saturday, and they got a couple of fan days. They're in New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A hot second, and then they go to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I was like, whoa, they're doing 2 joint practices, but they're doing a lot because this team has to really coalesce quickly to be able to perform week 1. And that's not a lot of time when you think about it to try to get the best out of your players, and you still got to make a decision on who you're going to keep, and you got to be ready to try to win football games in September. Like, they're not, it's not like we're going to ease into the season. They're like, we got games to play. So next week is going to be very interesting. I think they're also trying to be strategic about not having the guys really go up against each other too much, because we all know it's going to get chippy after a while. It's hot out there. And so we want them. It's really hot. And so and so they going up against the Jets and then going up against the Dolphins the week after is a big deal to see, who's really going to stick and who's not.
Mr. My man, Telly, he put out on YouTube. Telly said, who's wide receiver 3? I think it's De'Ami Brown. Cliff is going to have fun with his downfield speed. I agree, Telly. I think it's De'Ami. I think right now, I know a lot of people, this is what was my argument. I know a lot of people want it to be McCaffrey. And a lot of guys, I saw, Kaden, you can jump in. I thought they rotated a lot of people. So it's hard to tell. They're just rotating a lot of people. So, but for me, a lot of people were talking about playing, De'Ami doesn't play inside. And I'm like, well, he don't need to play inside. When you got Terry and Jahan, these are 2 guys who can go inside, outside. You can put Terry in the inside. We've seen him being utilized in the inside with Scott Turner's offense. So we've seen it done before. So Terry can play inside sometimes when they put a 3 wide. And I know I said his name, but I just had to say it. But I know we can also put Jahan on the inside. You can do that too and have De'Ami on the outside. You have situations in in the NFL and different teams. Like CeeDee Lamb plays inside all the time. He's their number one wide receiver. You know what I mean? So you can still get Terry matched up against a linebacker or a nickel, a linebacker or a nickel cornerback. You're winning that situation. Have Diami on the outside. That's speed. Now you got to worry about that speed on the outside. I don't care what quarterback you have. Speed is speed. And you have just Jahan on the other side. Or if you want to interchange Jahan and Terry and have Terry on the outside, Jahan on the inside, you can get that mismatch. So to me, in my opinion, like the more threatening unit is Jahan, Diami, and Terry. That's the most threatening unit that you can put out there because you have a guy who can go outside and beat and you've seen it. This is one thing I've told folks: you can't teach getting open. Diami, when he goes deep, he gets open. There is separation. Now, those passes didn't hit him on stride. Some were dropped, so let's be fair in our assessments. But he gets open. He gets separation when he goes down the field. Yep. Like he is one of those deep ball, one of those guys, and when they run that deep route, he is one of those dudes that gets open, which is not easy in the NFL. He does that, and he does that pretty well. Then you got Terry McLaurin, who runs great routes. You can do whatever. You can put him inside, outside, mismatch him. I just think your most talented lineup is those three. That's just my opinion. Candy?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like, I gotta see what they do in joint practice. Yeah. But I really do. You know, like I really do, because I meant to make this point a moment ago. In Bobby Wagner's press conference, he said something about the first day of pads. He's like, everybody gets excited about the first day of pads, but it's literally like the first day of pads. Like some people have not put pads on since last season.
Yeah.
Like, so it is hard to ramp up. So everybody was expecting it to be, so maybe that's another reason why they quiet, because they were really literally easing into it, because this team and they understand, easing into it. We got some time, and they got a big week next week. So that they got to show up for, because they wanted to be competitive for certain. And so what you saw already today, well, you're right. They're mixing it up.
Everything,
and you cannot get too outside of quarterback. You can't get too into positions and reps. Who went out with the first team? Who went out with the second team? Who went out with the third team? Don't do that. As you saw today, they was mixing everybody.
Yeah, Crowder looked good. Like Crowder looked good today. Like Crowder was like in the mix. Like Jameson Crowder looked good.
Yeah, right. And it's like you just can't. Not yet. Joint practices, that first preseason game, definitely that second preseason game. It's good to make your assessment at that point, because it's like, all right, now we're gonna know, because they've been going up against guys all week, and then it's a different group of guys, but they are, and a lot of that, again, this is strategic. They're not about they don't care nothing about our depth charts, and all that. This is it's just a different, because even for me, it's like everybody is feeling the cultural difference.
Yeah.
Like, dang, I can't talk about who was back there returning kicks. You don't really mean me to say that? Okay, well, I won't be that snitch. You know what I mean? So, I'll keep that. It's better than it was last year. That's all I'll give you, So they're taking it seriously. And I dig that. Like, it's not just the same. And they're moving people around to really see what's the best option. I know we've been talking a lot about even Cornelius Lucas.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all of that. And it's just like that offensive line entire thing is a real thing. And you got a rookie quarterback. And like you all called it perfectly. That punt return, kick return is going to be important, because you're dealing with a rookie quarterback with an all-new O-line. Yet again, you need to get them in the best possible place to succeed. So that is you all's hand. That is not just going to be Dak Smith. They got other people, and they're going to use their best individuals to help the team succeed and get down there. They don't know.
Why you gotta mention Dak Smith? Why you gotta mention his name?
Because he was back there. That's my only.
We gotta be positive, man. We gotta be positive.
So
he's part of negative. He's part of negative. We gotta be positive, man.
I don't know. It's not. I don't know what game was it. I feel maybe it was like the Rams game. I did the pregame, and you asked me something. I just laughed out loud
about him. It gotta be about him. Like, it's always about him.
I've never done that before. I cannot believe I just laughed.
It's probably about Dak Smith.
It was either him. I think it was about either him or David Mayo.
Oh, it's probably Mayo. It's definitely probably by Mayo.
You know, Mayo is bad, terrible.
Yeah.
Somebody said that's still on the roster.
Chicken.
Yes.
Yeah, hey Paul. Yeah, I saw him, bro. I saw him.
Yeah.
I had to double take. I was like, yo, this can't be what I think it is. I was right. He was right in front of me too. He was right in front of me, Paul. Like right in front of me. I was like, dang. But he's I'm sure he's a nice person though. He's a nice guy.
Oh.
He said, "Yeah, yeah, Paul, right in front of me, bro. All right, it's just."
Let's see something.
He's on the roster for now. Let's keep it out. There's no way he makes the wide receiver room unless he's a special teamer, and we no way he makes the
Man, he got 9 lives, man. He got 9 lives. That's all I'm gonna tell you. He got 9 lives. He's still in the league, man. God bless him, man. The new choice. Yep, like 9 lives. Like, yeah.
No,
yeah, new 5. Yeah, he's like got 9 lives. He's a survivor, man.
He is.
He's a survivor, man. Hey, hey, Candy, it's about time to close this. Hey, before we close out, for anybody got questions for Candy? I don't want to act like Glenn.
She gotta get up early tomorrow. Let her go, bro.
I know, man. I'm trying to. I know.
Let her go,
do I gotta get up early? So in my real jobs, I almost killed myself today.
But next week is gonna be a good week. I think they're off on Wednesday and they're off on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see how they close this week out before they go into joint practices.
I can't wait for joint practices. Hey, Candy, before we close the show out, how can folks catch your content and also catch you on social media?
You all can find all of the Commanders content on Bowie_TV, YouTube, on X. Please follow me at Seawall SE. I'm at camp like every day in real life, unless it's something like happens. Like today, technically, I wasn't supposed to be there. Remember, I told you, I said, "Oh, I'm not going out." Oh yeah, all right, yeah, I'll be there. Those were just jokes. I'll be there. So, I'm always in Ashburn now. So. Those 2 places for sure, you will not miss anything. You can always catch me on IG as well as CEO Seawall or the Bowie TV Sports. You're gonna catch everything there.
Hey, yo, Candy a star out there, man. Everybody know her, Joe. Like them players know her too, man. The coaches know her. They be like, "What's up?" I be like, "Oh, okay, Candy, she big time it." I love it, man. I love
no new friends because I want
no new friends, man. No new friends. Yeah. I love it though. I love it. Hey, before we jet out, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and go everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and go everything Facebook page. Appreciate y'all for tuning in on YouTube. I see y'all. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? We try to get to 400. We about there. We close. So get us to 400. Then after that, I'm gonna ask for 500. That's how the game works. We're gonna get to 400. I'm gonna ask for 500. That's how it just works. It's the Nigerian in me. You always gotta go up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hustle up. Anyway, yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate Taj. Appreciate Paul. Appreciate Telly. Appreciate Gearsell. Miss Waller, you know what I'm saying? Mama Waller, everybody, man. I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate it. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. Deuces, we are out.
Like, subscribe.